Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
LA.
All right, everybody, peace. Welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast show, brought to you by GSMC Sports Network. As you guys know, I'm your host, Sean Cottle, and we've got a wonderful show for you today, guys. We are going to be... Sorry, guys, to make sure my mic is on right now. Perfect. Okay, we are going to be discussing very interesting topics today around the NBA. We are going to be recapping the preseason debut for Giannis and Dame. This will be our first time seeing them play together. We're also going to be discussing the WNBA Finals, Game 2. We'll be recapping that, and then I'll be doing another 2 segments of Storytime Friday. So, why don't we go ahead and get right into it, guys? So like I said, preseason debut for Giannis and Dame. But before we do get into it, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys stay up to date on all related content that we post daily. And be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in GSMC Sports. That way you get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. Streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. None of this is possible without you guys as fans. We're so grateful and honored for all the blessing, or for all the love and support you show us, because it's a blessing to be here. So, like I said, let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. So, Giannis and Dame played together for the first time in the preseason against the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Bucks won that game 108-97. But we're not necessarily worried about the score right now. We're more so worried about how Giannis and Dame looked together. And the biggest thing that stood out to me was Giannis' ability to play off the ball. Not just play off the ball, but also play off the ball from the wing perimeter area as opposed to in the low block. I think that was a positive thing to see from Milwaukee. Granted, it was in small portions, and it was the preseason, but it was still nice. It was good to see. It was a positive sign to see that, because that was a concern of mine after the trade was, would either of those two guys be able to play off the ball? Speaking of Giannis and Dame. And it seems that they were able to play off the ball. It seemed that Giannis was, and it's understandably so, playing second fiddle to Dame in terms of allowing Dame to get comfortable and now get more shots off and looking to facilitate for Dame quite prominently in this last game. I don't think that's going to be the case as much as the season starts to progress, but you can tell that Giannis wanted to make sure Dame was comfortable in the system and within the offense, and was feeding Dame more often than not, looking to feed him intentionally. And that was good to see. That was a positive thing to see for Milwaukee. And I wasn't necessarily, one thing I was also impressed with was Dame's ability to play off the ball, which is something that he hasn't really had to do throughout his career, which is also was the reason that him and Chauncey Billups didn't necessarily gel right away, was because the Chauncey was trying to get Dame to play off the ball when he first got to Portland, but Dame had been so accustomed to playing on the balls that was a difficult progression for him to make. But I was impressed with what I saw with Milwaukee, and the little bits of spurts that I did see. It was hard to tell defensively exactly how things are going to be because it is the preseason. I think once we get to about late November, December, it'll be easier to gauge exactly what to expect defensively. But just in little pieces that I saw offensively from the game last night, I was impressed with both of those guys' abilities to play off the ball. Does what I saw yesterday change my preseason pick for who I think is going to win the NBA championship or who's going to come out the East? Not necessarily. No, it's not. It's not. But I am impressed with what I saw, to say the least. I am impressed. But in our next segment, guys, we are going to be discussing some Game 2 recap from the WNBA Finals between the Liberty and the Aces. So, guys, be sure to stick around for that. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we discussed the first look in the preseason with Dame and Giannis paired together on their match against the Lakers, and talked about what we saw specifically offensively, because it was hard to gauge much of anything defensively because it's the preseason. It's extremely early, but in this next segment, guys, we are going to be recapping some Game 2 recap from the WNBA Finals between the Las Vegas Aces and the New York Liberty. The New York Liberty won by a score of 87-73, outscoring the Aces by 8 points in the third quarter to pull away. The Liberty were led in scoring by Jonquil Jones, who had a monster game, going 10-15, 4-7 from the three-point line for 27 points and 3 assists and 8 rebounds, followed by Brianna Stewart, who had 20 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks, followed by Courtney Vandersloot, who had 12 points and 6 assists and 7 rebounds. And Benicia Laney had 12 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal. And Sabrina Ionescu had 9 points, 11 assists, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. And the Aces were led by Kelsey Plum, who had 29 points, to go along with 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Followed by H. Wilson, who had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, and Jackie Young, who had 8 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, and Chelsea Gray, who had 11 points, 2 assists, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, and also left the game early with an apparent foot injury. So this was Listen, the Aces only shot 33% from the field last night, while also committing 11 turnovers. But the Liberty shot over 50% from the field. The Liberty gave up a lot of... Sorry, not the Liberty, my apologies. The Aces gave a lot of offensive rebounds, which is not typical of them. But also... Listen, if Jonquil Jones shoots 4 of 7 from the 3-point line, if that's what it takes for the Liberty to beat the Aces, if I'm the Aces, I'm just tipping my hat off to that. Like, hey, okay, you got it. We'll take that. We will take that every day of the week. If that's what it takes for you guys to beat us, you're big to shoot 4 of 7 from the 3-point line, making the most threes in the game that she's made all season, then we'll take that. I'll live with that, because they limited Brianna Stewart to below her season average. They held Sabrina Ionescu to single digits, and they held Courtney Vandersloot to under her season average. So, I'll live with that if that's what it takes. If that's what it takes for you guys to beat us. You're big, shooting 7 threes, making 4 of them, then okay, we'll live with that. Because you have to understand, as a defense, you can't take everything away. Yeah, on a clipboard, you can do all these X's and O's. Okay, well, the ball goes here, then I'll go here, then I'll go here, and then you can play checkers and chess with it. But when it comes down to it, and you're actually playing, great coaches understand you can't take everything away. You have to live with the offense scoring something, whatever you give up, right? Because if you take something away, you're going to get something up, and you have to live with the opposing team shooting or hitting whatever you've given up. And I'll live with that. It was just more. This was just more so good. It was a good night, good scoring night from the Aces. talked about this in the previous show, how this series is going to go 4 games. I mean, at least 4 games. I could still have it going in 4. Still have Vegas winning in 4. And it seems it would be right on par. You know, a team as talented as the Liberty are not going to get swept. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Biggest concern, though, if you're Vegas, is Chelsea Gray. And her health, as we talked about. She left the game early in the third quarter with an apparent foot injury. Status is unclear for Game 4. But that will be a huge blow for Vegas. Do I think that Vegas can win without Chelsea Gray? Yes, but the margin for error is much smaller if Gray is unavailable. And then you have to start asking yourself, okay, do we give Chelsea Gray time to heal for a possible Game 5, or do we roll our chips, put all our chips in the middle right now and say, ask her to play Game 4 and close out the series? And that's something that the Vegas coaching staff, management is going to have to think about. And I do think it's possible, like I said, it's possible for Vegas to win without Chelsea Gray in the lineup, but their margin for error is much smaller because they still can push the paint. The only thing that they would lose is obviously another scoring punch from the backcourt, and they lose the defensive presence. But this is a team that doesn't go deep as it is anyway, so you're not really missing much anyway. Chelsea Gray normally plays around 38-40 minutes for the whole game anyway, so and then they don't really go that deep anyway, so you're not really you don't really miss anything. You probably just give Alicia Clark more of those minutes. They probably go a little smaller, and that's the only thing that would hurt them. But Asia Wilson's done a good job up until Game 3 of keeping Jonquel Jones off the boards, and I have Vegas winning this game, Game 4, on Friday, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The next game is our Wednesday. One of you guys can correct me on that, but we'll see what things go. We'll see how things turn out. But in our next segment, guys, we're doing Story Time Friday. So, sorry, not Story Time Friday, but Story Time segments. So you used to do them on Friday. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. In case you missed the first 2 segments of our show, we discussed what we saw out of Dame and Giannis during their first preseason game together. And we also discussed some recap from the WNBA Finals, Game 2. And in this segment, guys, we'll be doing another storytime segment. I'll be doing 2 of them today. And in this segment, I just want to talk about, really quickly, the importance of efficiency in shooting, right? And how that applies at the collegiate level. So in college, we had a shot chart in our locker room that kept track of our free throws, and every day we had to make 18 out of 20 free throws every day. Didn't matter before practice, after practice, didn't matter. You had to get 18 out of 20 at least every day. 18 out of 20 free throws. And the shot chart was in the locker room to keep everyone accountable, and so everyone could see your numbers, you could see their numbers, and it's just a way to keep everyone accountable and make sure that everyone was getting their free throws in. And if we saw that someone didn't shoot their free throws that day, then we would run the next day as a team. So that means, obviously you got your group chat as a team, so you're texting guys that didn't get their free throws in, like, hey, make sure you guys get your free throws in, shoot your free throws in, so you don't have to run. So that accountability piece was huge in college. And then there was also my sophomore year, we started a accountability piece where before every game during your shooting workout, you had to make at least 30 3-pointers in 5 minutes, which isn't as hard as it seems once you're in rhythm and you're got shots up and you're got a rebounder and passer and all that. 30 3-pointers in 5 minutes is not that bad, but that was ways we had to keep accountable. And if you didn't get 30 3-pointers, then you weren't allowed to shoot threes. And when I say not allowed, that just means like your first option wasn't the 3. Now if it's late in the shot clock, then it's like, yeah, okay, then you can shoot it. But you're not allowed to come off the pin down and shoot that off the 3, off the catch, or in transition. Definitely not shoot that 3. But those are ways to keep you accountable, and it's constant progression. It's game by game, and so it forces you to stay locked in, stay accountable, and get better every day. And it shows the progression. It shows that you have to work to get those type of shots and shoot those type of shots during the game. And it worked. I mean, I improved as a shooter, but it kept the shooters disciplined and accountable, and guys that couldn't shoot, it forced them to get better. Because the team I played for, if you couldn't shoot the ball, then there's no way you got playing time. You couldn't. We just shot the ball a lot. But I just wanted to share those stories with you guys real quick. But we're going to take one more break, guys. One more quick break, and then I'm going to go right back into another storytime segment. So just stick around for like 30 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Like I said, it was just a quick segment, quick break. So I'm doing my last story time segment for the day. So I wanted to tell a story about when I was getting triple teamed as a professional basketball player in Mexico. So this is my 3rd season playing professional basketball, and I was in Mexico. And the first game of my 3rd season, first game of the season in Mexico, I believe I had like 30 points. Then the second game I had 25. Then the third game I had 29 or 27, somewhere around that, high 20s. In the fourth game, obviously teams are watching film now. I'll never forget the start of the game. I was getting triple teamed. And when I say triple teamed, I mean coming off a ball screen. I'm getting trapped on that ball screen, but then there is what you call the high eye, which is normal help side was pushed up to where if I blow by the double, that I will be right there. And so that it essentially looks like a triple team on film. And that was the first time I got triple teamed at any level. And that's when I realized, okay, yeah, this is pretty serious. But being able to score off a double team or a triple team, that's when you're truly challenging yourself. And obviously you want to make the right play first and foremost as a player. So, if you have an open man on the wing or in the corner, you want to get it down to them as opposed to shooting a contested shot that you're being doubled on. But practicing, if you know you're a player that's going to get double teamed during the season, you have to practice for that. You have to practice for those double teams and making reads off the double team. And so, I only got triple teamed a couple times that season, but I got doubled a lot. And so going after that season ended in that off season, I made an emphasis to focus on playing against the double team and making reads against the double team. Because this past season in Luxembourg, I got double teamed a lot as well. So being able to just practice that and make reads off of that moment right there is essential. So it's as a player, that's a sign of respect. You want to embrace those moments right there. But yeah, just want to share that story with you guys. So that's it for our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to check out. Be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all the latest content they post daily. And be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, click on the search bar, and typing in GSMC Sports. That way you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. streamelements.com/GSMCSportsNetwork./tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMCSportsNetwork./tip. None of this is possible as you guys are fans. We're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you show us. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out the other shows on the GSMC Sports Network: the GSMC Baseball Podcast, GSMC College Football Podcast, the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and GSMC NFL Podcast as well. All of our hosts provide great insight on the sports that they cover, and it's an honor and privilege to be working alongside some of the best in the business when it comes to sports media. So, with that being said, guys, we'll be back again same time tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and peace.